The Four Winds by Kristen Hannah is, in my opinion, a must-read book. This is a historical fiction book that starts off in the early 1920s in Texas, and we follow Elsa Wolcott, who is a daughter of a wealthy family. And she is somebody who is disregarded by her family. They have kind of imposed this idea of perpetual spinsterhood upon her. She's too weak and incapable to really go out and live her own life. And at the beginning of the book, we see her, even though she accepts this and she has internalized this idea of her own uselessness and her lack of agency and autonomy, we see the fighter in her, and we see her go out, and through circumstances, she leaves her family and becomes part of a family in a neighboring community, the Martinellis. And this family is looked down upon. They're Italian immigrants. They're farmers. They're not as wealthy. They are good people. Her develop this relationship with this family and grow into her own and have her own family, essentially. We follow Elsa and her journey as she fights to survive during the Great Depression, which, from what I have studied after reading this book, I knew it was bad. I did not understand how apocalyptically bad this was and the Dust Bowl was for people in these Great Plain states. This book deals with the harsh reality of trying to survive when there is nobody there to help you, when you have always felt that there was a safety net. There is deep connection to the land, and there is discussion of how we are so connected to the land. There is a deep discussion and a reflection on Americans' inability to learn from our mistakes and our insistence on doubling down on the systems and ideals that have gotten us into these situations in the first place. There is a conversation of warring ideals in that, is it better or is it more beneficial to lean into these systems and try and rise to the top and through, the subjugation and suppression and oppression of other people, or is it better, even though it's harder, to find community and kindness and try and strive to build a better world? And what would you do in the face of this kind of systematic oppression that has put us in this situation where essentially we have no way out and you have to fight or you have to just survive? It's such a beautifully presented portrayal of these very opposing ideals. I think there is also the conversation of what is idealism versus action versus what is idealism put into action. And I think different characters represent these different things. What is a call to action without the work and hard work and action behind it? And how realistic do we have to be in our desire to take action? If that makes sense. I don't want to give away too much of this book, but it's just, y'all, I had thoughts on this book. I loved it so much. And I love that Kristen Hannah does not mince words in conveying this message. This book was written in 2020, and it's about the Great Depression, but it feels very, very, very relevant to what we are going through today in this country. And at the beginning of every single part, she includes a quote. And this one, they all stopped me in my tracks. I mean, she is very blatant in where she stands on these topics, and I appreciate her taking a stand in this book. And I just want to share this quote with you. So this is a quote she chose to put in her book, and it's, "I see 1/3 of a nation ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-nourished. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little." Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And I just, period. I mean, but just chills. This book gives me chills. It gives me chills thinking about it. And I think it's such an important conversation on what have we learned? What have we not learned? What are we still just buying into that is not working? And how do we learn from our past mistakes and move forward and find the bravery and the courage and the faith to move forward? Oh my God, I'm going to tear up thinking about this book. I just thought it was fantastic. I thought it was so good. I think if you like historical fiction, if you like literary fiction, if you just want to read an amazing book, please go read this book. It was phenomenal. Now, have y'all read this book? I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments, and I will see you next time.